The Galactic Assessment. The sleek, crystalline ship of the Jarek Imperium slid silently into orbit around the third planet of an unremarkable yellow star. Commander Vexlor stood on the bridge, his four eyes narrowed as he studied the blue-green orb below. His exoskeleton glimmered under the soft bioluminescent lighting of the ship, a testament to the advanced nature of his species. "Initial scans complete, Commander," reported Science Officer Krila, her tentacles dancing over the holographic display. "The planet is designated as Earth by its inhabitants. Preliminary data suggests a Class 3 civilization, barely spacefaring." Vexlor's mandibles clicked in amusement. Another easy conquest for the glory of the Imperium. What of the dominant species? Krila's bioluminescent patches pulsed as she processed the data. "Bipedal mammals, Commander. Designated as humans, they appear to be the primary sapient species on the planet." "Mammals." Vexlor scoffed, his crystalline exoskeleton shimmering with disdain. "Soft, weak creatures. Hardly a challenge for our might. What are their defenses?" The science officer's tentacles flicked through various holographic readouts. "Primitive, Commander. Their most advanced weapons utilize chemical propellants and crude fission devices. Their space presence is minimal, limited to a few orbiting stations and a single outpost on their moon." Vexlor's mandibles spread in what passed for a smile among the Jarek. "Excellent. This conquest will barely warrant a footnote in our annals. Prepare a more detailed scan of their population centers and military capabilities." As the crew bustled about their tasks, Vexlor allowed himself a moment of reflection. The Jarek Imperium had expanded across 3 galaxies, conquering or subjugating thousands of species. They prided themselves on their technological superiority and their ability to adapt to any environment. The idea that these humans could pose any sort of challenge was laughable. Hours passed as the ship maintained its stealth orbit, gathering data on the unsuspecting planet below. Krila approached the commander once more, her bioluminescent patches pulsing with excitement. "Commander, I've completed a more thorough analysis of the human species," she reported. "While they appear physically unimpressive, there are some anomalies in their planetary conditions that warrant further investigation." Vexlor's upper eyes focused on the science officer, while his lower pair continued to monitor the main view screen. "Anomalies. Explain." Krila's tentacles wove an intricate pattern as she brought up a new set of holographic displays. "The planet's gravity is higher than what we typically see for civilizations at this stage of development. The atmosphere also contains an unusually high percentage of oxygen. And this is significant because," Vexlor prompted, his patience wearing thin. "Well, Commander," Krila continued, her voice taking on a note of hesitation, "these conditions suggest that the humans might be more resilient than we initially assumed. The higher gravity would result in denser musculature and stronger bone structure. The oxygen-rich atmosphere could potentially support more efficient metabolic processes." Vexlor waved a clawed appendage dismissively. "Irrelevant. Our technology far surpasses anything these primitives could muster, regardless of their physical attributes. Prepare the invasion simulations." As Krila retreated to her station, a junior officer approached the commander. "Sir, we've detected some unusual energy signatures from the planet's surface. They don't match any known weapon systems in our database." For the first time since entering Earth's orbit, Vexlor felt a twinge of unease. He quickly suppressed it, chalking it up to the tedium of what promised to be an easy conquest. "Probably some quirk of their primitive technology. Continue monitoring and report any significant changes." The bridge fell into a focused silence as the crew went about their preparations. Vexlor's gaze returned to the view screen, studying the swirling clouds and vast oceans of the planet below. Despite the reassurances he'd given his crew, a small part of him couldn't shake the feeling that they might be underestimating these humans. As the Earth slowly rotated beneath them, blissfully unaware of the looming threat, Vexlor made a decision. "Krila," he called out, "prepare a stealth probe." I want a closer look at these humans before we proceed with the invasion. Something about this planet doesn't sit right with me. The science officer acknowledged the order, her tentacles already working to prepare the probe. As the small, cloaked device detached from the ship and began its descent towards Earth's atmosphere, Vexilor couldn't help but wonder what surprises this seemingly insignificant planet might hold. Little did the Jarek commander know that his decision to investigate further would set in motion a chain of events that would challenge everything his species thought they knew about the universe and their place in it. The true nature of humanity was about to be revealed, and the galaxy would never be the same. The atmospheric revelation. The stealth probe pierced Earth's atmosphere, its advanced sensors drinking in data at an astounding rate. Back on the Jarek ship, Kreela's bioluminescent patches flickered rapidly as she processed the incoming information. Commander Vexilor loomed behind her, his 4 eyes fixed intently on the holographic displays. "Commander," Kreela's voice wavered slightly. "I'm detecting something unusual in the atmospheric composition." Vexilor's mandibles clicked impatiently. "We've already noted the high oxygen content. What else could possibly be of interest?" The science officer's tentacles danced across the controls, bringing up a complex chemical analysis. "It's not just the oxygen, sir. There are trace amounts of numerous synthetic compounds, chemicals that shouldn't occur naturally. And the concentrations are significant." "Explain," Vexilor demanded, his exoskeleton shifting colors slightly in response to his growing unease. Kreela took a moment to collect her thoughts before responding. "Commander, these compounds are indicative of extensive industrial activity, far more than we'd expect from a Class 3 civilization. There are pollutants, yes, but also evidence of widespread atmospheric engineering." Vexilor's upper eyes narrowed. "Atmospheric engineering? You're suggesting these primitives are terraforming their own planet?" "Not exactly terraforming, sir," Kreela clarified. "It's more like they're constantly adapting to changes in their environment." And she hesitated, her bioluminescence dimming slightly. "There's something else, something I'd never seen before." The commander leaned in closer, his interest piqued despite his skepticism. "Show me." A new holographic display materialized, showing a complex molecular structure. Kreela's tentacles trembled slightly as she explained. "This compound doesn't match anything in our database. It appears to be a byproduct of some form of advanced energy production, or perhaps a new type of propulsion system." Vexilor's mandibles clicked rapidly, a sign of agitation among the Jarek. "Impossible. Our initial scans showed no evidence of such technology. Could the probe be malfunctioning?" "Unlikely, sir," Kreela responded. "I've run multiple diagnostics. The data is accurate." As if to underscore her point, a flurry of new information began streaming in from the probe. Kreela's tentacles flew over the controls, struggling to keep up with the influx of data. "Commander," she exclaimed, her bioluminescent patches pulsing erratically. "The probe has detected a massive energy surge from the planet's surface." Vexilor spun towards the main view screen, just in time to see a brilliant flash of light erupt from Earth's northern hemisphere. A sleek, dart-like object burst through the cloud cover, climbing rapidly towards the upper atmosphere. "What in the name of the Imperium is that?" Vexilor hissed, his exoskeleton now a swirling mix of colors reflecting his confusion and alarm. Kreela's tentacles were a blur as she analyzed the new data. "It appears to be a spacecraft, sir, but its energy signature doesn't match any known propulsion system. It's achieving escape velocity at an impossible rate." The bridge erupted into chaos as the crew scrambled to make sense of what they were witnessing. Vexilor barked orders, demanding updates on the mysterious craft's trajectory and capabilities. "Sir," a junior officer called out, "the human vessel. It's on an intercept course with our ship." Vexilor's mandibles snapped shut in shock. "Impossible. They shouldn't be able to detect us, let alone intercept us." As the Earth vessel rapidly closed the distance, Kreela made a startling discovery. "Commander, I'm detecting communication attempts from the human ship." There, they're using frequencies we thought were theoretically impossible for a species at their technological level. Vexilor's exoskeleton paled, a sign of deep distress among the Zurich. "Open a channel," he ordered, his voice barely above a whisper. The view screen flickered to life, revealing the interior of the human vessel. A single figure sat at what appeared to be a control console, clad in a sleek suit that seemed to shimmer and shift, adapting to the surrounding environment. The human's voice came through clearly, translated by the ship's advanced systems. "Greetings, visitors. We've been expecting you." Vexilor's four eyes blinked in rapid succession, his mind reeling from the implications of those simple words. How could they have known? What else had the Zurich miscalculated about this supposedly primitive species? The human continued, a hint of amusement in their voice. "We appreciate your interest in our little planet, but I'm afraid we'll have to decline any invasion attempts. Perhaps we could discuss a more mutually beneficial arrangement." As Vexilor struggled to formulate a response, he couldn't shake the feeling that everything the Zurich thought they knew about the universe had just been turned upside down. The humans, it seemed, were far from weak, and the Zurich Imperium was about to learn a harsh lesson in the dangers of underestimating a species based on appearances alone. The commander's mandibles clicked nervously as he prepared to engage in the most important first contact of his career. The fate of the Zurich Imperium, and perhaps the entire galaxy, hung in the balance. First contact and miscalculation. Commander Vexilor's exoskeleton rippled with a mix of colors, betraying his inner turmoil as he faced the human on the view screen. He quickly composed himself, drawing on centuries of diplomatic training. "I am Commander Vexilor of the Zurich Imperium," he announced, his translator conveying what he hoped was an authoritative tone. "We come in peace to establish contact with your species." The human's lips curved into what Vexilor recognized as a smile, though it didn't seem entirely friendly. "Commander, I'm Captain Area Chen of the Earth Defense Force. Let's dispense with the pretense, shall we? We've been monitoring your ship since it entered our solar system." Vexilor's mandibles clicked in surprise. He glanced at Kreela, who shook her head, confirming that their stealth systems were still functioning. "Impossible," he muttered, before addressing the human again. "How did you detect us?" Captain Chen's smile widened. "That's classified information, Commander, but let's just say we've had some evolutionary advantages that have accelerated our technological progress." Kreela interjected, her tentacles waving excitedly. "The atmospheric anomalies. They're not just industrial byproducts, are they?" "Perceptive," Chen nodded. "Earth's unique conditions have shaped our development in ways you couldn't have anticipated. Our atmosphere isn't just our air. It's a complex ecosystem of natural and artificial elements that we've learned to harness." Vexilor's mind raced, trying to process this information. "But our scans showed a primitive civilization, barely capable of interplanetary travel." Chen chuckled, a sound that sent an uncomfortable shiver through Vexilor's exoskeleton. "We've become quite adept at camouflage, Commander. It's amazing what you can hide when you control your planet's electromagnetic output." As if to demonstrate her point, the view screen suddenly filled with images of vast underground cities, advanced energy facilities hidden beneath the ocean floor, and orbital platforms that had been completely invisible to the Zurich scans. "This is unprecedented," Vexilor admitted, his earlier confidence evaporating. "The Imperium has encountered thousands of species, but never one that could conceal its true nature so effectively." Chen's expression turned serious. "We've had to be cautious, Commander. Earth's history is filled with conflicts and near extinctions. We learned the hard way that advertising our presence to the cosmos might not be wise." Kreela, ever the scientist, couldn't contain her curiosity. "But how have you advanced so quickly? The atmospheric composition suggests your industrial age was mere centuries ago." "Necessity is the mother of invention," Chen replied. "Our harsh environment forced us to adapt or die. We've turned our planet's challenges into our greatest strengths." Vexlor, still struggling to accept this new reality, decided to test the humans' resolve. Impressive as your advancements may be, surely you realize the Xeric Imperium's power dwarfs that of a single planet. Perhaps we could discuss terms of your integration into our society. The temperature on the bridge seemed to drop several degrees as Chen's smile disappeared. I'd reconsider that line of thought, Commander. We faced extinction-level events, fought off pandemics that should have wiped us out, and turned the very poisons in our air into the fuel for our ascension. We're not interested in integration. As if to punctuate her words, multiple alarms began blaring on the Xeric ship. Crew members called out in panic as systems began shutting down one by one. What's happening? Vexlor demanded, his exoskeleton now a pale shade of distress. Kreela's tentacles flew over her console. It's some kind of cyber attack, Commander. They breached our firewalls, as if they didn't exist. Chen's voice cut through the chaos. Consider this a demonstration, Commander Vexlor. We could disable your ship entirely if we wished. Instead, we're giving you a chance to leave peacefully. Vexlor's 4 eyes darted between his panicking crew and the calm human on the screen. For the first time in his long career, he felt truly outmatched. And if we refuse, then you'll learn firsthand why Earth has remained unconquered despite the challenges we faced. Chen replied, her tone leaving no room for doubt. The commander's mind raced, evaluating his options. The Imperium's protocols demanded he subdue or destroy any potential threat. But faced with technology that surpassed their own, and a species that had turned their very atmosphere into a weapon, Vexlor realized that the standard approach would likely lead to disaster. Perhaps, he said slowly, his exoskeleton gradually returning to its normal hue, we could discuss a mutual exchange of knowledge instead. The Xeric Imperium has much to offer in terms of galactic history and interspecies relations. Chen's expression softened slightly. Now that's a much more reasonable proposal, Commander. We're always eager to learn. But understand this, Earth is off-limits for conquest. We're open to peaceful interactions, trade, and cultural exchange. Anything beyond that will be met with the full force of our capabilities. As the alarms on the bridge gradually silenced and systems came back online, Vexlor nodded solemnly. Agreed, Captain Chen. I believe we have much to learn from each other. The human captain smiled again, this time with genuine warmth. Excellent. Now shall we begin our first official diplomatic talks? I'm sure you have many questions about our weak species. As Vexlor prepared for the most unexpected negotiation of his life, he couldn't help but feel a mix of fear and exhilaration. The galaxy, it seemed, was far more complex and wondrous than even the mighty Xeric had imagined, and humanity, with its incredible resilience and ingenuity, was about to take its place among the stars. The battle for Earth. Despite the initial agreement, tensions between the Xeric Imperium and Earth remained high. While Commander Vexlor had been convinced of humanity's strength, the Xeric High Council was not so easily swayed. They saw Earth as a potential threat to their dominion and ordered a full-scale invasion, disregarding Vexlor's warnings. As the Xeric Armada entered the solar system, Captain Area Chen's voice crackled through the communication channels. Commander Vexlor, your fleet has breached the terms of our agreement. Withdraw immediately, or we will be forced to defend ourselves. Vexlor's exoskeleton pulsed with anxiety. Captain Chen, I apologize. This attack was not my decision. Please, there must be a way to avoid conflict. I'm afraid it's too late for that, Commander. Chen replied, her voice tinged with regret. Initiate Defense Protocol Omega. Suddenly, the seemingly empty space around Earth came alive. Hundreds of sleek, dart-like ships, similar to Chen's vessel decloaked, forming a defensive perimeter around the planet. The Xeric fleet, caught off guard, scrambled to assume battle formations. High Admiral Zexkra, leader of the invasion force, sneered at the human defenses. These primitives think they can stand against the might of the Imperium. Commenced the attack. The space above Earth erupted into chaos as energy beams and plasma bolts crisscrossed the void. But the human ships proved incredibly agile, their movements defying the known laws of physics. They seemed to bend space itself, appearing and disappearing at will, landing devastating blows on the Jarek vessels. On the bridge of the flagship, Vexilor watched in awe and horror. "Admiral," he pleaded, "we must retreat. The humans' technology far surpasses our own." "Silence, you coward," Zexkra roared. "We are the Jarek. We do not retreat." As the battle raged on, Earth unveiled more of its hidden defenses. Massive cannons emerged from the lunar surface, firing beams of energy that cut through Jarek ships like paper. Swarms of nanobots poured out from orbital platforms, disabling enemy vessels by infiltrating their systems. But the true surprise came from Earth's atmosphere itself. The complex mixture of natural and artificial elements that had intrigued Kreela earlier now proved to be a formidable weapon. As Jarek ships entered the upper atmosphere, they found their systems malfunctioning, their hulls corroding at an impossible rate. "Fascinating," Kreela murmured, analyzing the data streaming in. "They've weaponized their entire planet. The atmosphere is like a living defense system, adapting to counter our technology." Admiral Zexkra, realizing the tide of battle had turned, finally gave the order to retreat. But the humans weren't content with merely defending their world. As the Jarek fleet tried to withdraw, they found their hyperdrives inoperable. Captain Chen's face appeared on the view screen once more. "You came to our home uninvited, with the intent to conquer. Now you'll face the consequences of your actions." The Earth ships pressed their advantage, their weapons tearing through the Jarek defenses with ease. Vexilor watched in disbelief as the pride of the Imperium's fleet was reduced to floating debris in a matter of hours. As the flagship's systems began to fail, Admiral Zexkra turned to Vexilor, his exoskeleton a pale shade of defeat. How could we have miscalculated so severely?" Vexilor's mandibles clicked softly. "We underestimated them. Admiral, we saw their harsh environment as a weakness, never considering it might be the source of their strength." The bridge shuddered as another impact rocked the ship. Warning klaxons blared as multiple systems went critical. In their final moments, Vexilor turned to Kreela. "Send out a distress beacon. The Imperium must know what happened here. They must understand the true nature of humanity." As Kreela's tentacles danced across the console one last time, the flagship of the mighty Jarek Imperium erupted in a brilliant explosion, marking the end of their ill-fated invasion. Back on Earth, in the command center of the Earth Defense Force, Captain Aria Chen watched the last of the Jarek ships disappear from their sensors. She turned to her team, her expression grave. "Send a message to the UN Security Council. The threat has been neutralized, but this is just the beginning. The galaxy now knows we're here, and we need to be prepared for what comes next." As the adrenaline of battle faded, Chen couldn't help but feel a mix of pride and concern. Humanity had proven its strength, turning its greatest challenges into the key to its survival. But in doing so, they had also announced their presence to the cosmos in the most dramatic way possible. The battle for Earth was over, but the war for humanity's place in the galaxy had only just begun. As the debris of the Jarek fleet drifted in Earth's orbit, a testament to human ingenuity and determination, Aria Chen knew that the true test of their species was yet to come. A new understanding. In the aftermath of the battle, Earth found itself in an unprecedented position. The defeat of the Jarek Imperium had sent shockwaves across the galaxy, drawing the attention of countless alien civilizations. Some viewed the emerging human race with fear, others with curiosity, and a few with begrudging respect. Captain Aria Chen stood before the United Nations Security Council, her posture rigid as she delivered her report. "The Jarek threat has been neutralized, but we can't afford to let our guard down. Our victory has put us on the galactic map, for better or worse." The chamber buzzed with a mix of excitement and apprehension. One of the council members leaned forward, her brow furrowed. "Captain, what do you recommend as our next course of action?" Chen took a deep breath before responding. We need to establish ourselves as a force to be reckoned with, but also as a potential ally. Our technology, particularly our atmospheric engineering and adaptive defenses, gives us a unique advantage. We should leverage this to open diplomatic channels with other spacefaring races. As the Council debated Earth's future strategy, an unexpected message arrived. A lone Zurich ship, bearing the markings of a diplomatic vessel, had entered the solar system under a flag of truce. To everyone's surprise, it was Commander Vexler who emerged from the ship, his exoskeleton a subdued hue of humility. He had survived the battle, rescued at the last moment by a malfunctioning escape pod. His experiences had transformed him, and he now sought to bridge the gap between his people and humanity. In a historic meeting aboard the International Space Station, Vexler faced Captain Chen once again. "Captain," he began, his translator conveying a tone of deep respect. "On behalf of the Zurich people, I extend our deepest apologies for our aggression. We have come to seek not only peace but to learn from your remarkable species." Chen studied the alien commander, noting the genuine change in his demeanor. "Your apology is accepted, Commander, but understand that trust will need to be earned." Vexler nodded, his four eyes blinking in sequence. "Of course, we have much to atone for, but we also have much to offer. The Zurich Imperium spans galaxies, and our knowledge could be invaluable to your people as you take your place among the stars." Over the following months, a tentative alliance formed between Earth and the Chessen Zurich Imperium. Human scientists worked alongside Zurich researchers, combining Earth's innovative approach to survival with the aliens' vast cosmic knowledge. 1 year after the failed invasion, a joint human-Zurich team made a groundbreaking discovery. By applying human atmospheric engineering techniques to Zurich terraforming technology, they developed a method to rehabilitate dying planets, potentially solving one of the galaxy's most pressing issues. As news of this breakthrough spread, Earth found itself at the center of a galactic renaissance. Species that had long viewed each other with suspicion now looked to humanity as a neutral party, a young race with fresh perspectives on age-old problems. Captain Chen, now Admiral Chen, stood on the observation deck of Earth's first intergalactic embassy, watching ships from a dozen different species dock at the sprawling space station. Beside her stood Commander Vexler, his exoskeleton shimmering with colors of contentment and excitement. "You know, Vexler," Chen mused, "when you first arrived in our system, I never imagined we'd end up here." The Zurich commander's mandibles clicked in amusement. "Nor did I, Arya. We came seeking to conquer a weak species, only to find ourselves humbled and enlightened." Chen nodded, her gaze fixed on the stars beyond. "Our weakness was our strength all along. Every challenge we faced on Earth forced us to adapt, to innovate. We turned pollutants into power sources, diseases into medical breakthroughs. Our atmosphere, once our greatest vulnerability, became our strongest shield. And now," Vexler added, "that same spirit of adaptation is reshaping the galaxy. You humans truly are remarkable." As they watched a ship from a newly contacted species approach the station, Chen couldn't help but smile. "We still have a long way to go, my friend. The galaxy is vast, and I'm sure there are plenty more surprises in store for us." Vexler's exoskeleton rippled with agreement. "Indeed, but whatever challenges lie ahead, I believe humanity will face them as you faced every other obstacle, with resilience, ingenuity, and that peculiar ability to turn weakness into strength." The Earth continued its orbit, its atmosphere now a shimmering barrier of protection and possibility. From the depths of the oceans to the highest peaks, from sprawling cities to hidden research facilities, humanity continued to push the boundaries of what was possible. And as they reached out to the stars, they carried with them the lessons learned from their harshest teacher, their home planet. The galaxy watched and waited, wondering what this young species, tempered by adversity and driven by an indomitable spirit, would do next. For in the end, it wasn't advanced weapons or impenetrable defenses that made humans strong. It was their ability to adapt, to unite in the face of challenges, and to see opportunities where others saw only obstacles. As Admiral Chen prepared to welcome the newest members of the galactic community, she realized that humanity's greatest adventure was just beginning. The phrase, "humans are weak," had become a relic of the past. Now, across the cosmos, a new saying was taking hold. Humans are here, and the universe will never be the same.